Where is it, y'all? Where is the nail? Where's the nail? Ah! So unfortunately we didn't see the nail that it should be somewhere here, but it's gotta be somewhere, right? Maybe it's like either been repurposed by Deshret, or it's just somewhere locked away in future patch jail, or something else, I don't know. But we did find something else interesting in the center of Mount Damavand. The Eternal Oasis does have a feature shared by the other areas that have a nail, the chasm in Dragonspine, as well as one that's theorized to have or have had a nail, Surumi Island. It's a withered tree, or a silver branch. Or maybe they're actually roots, but that's another discussion. So that makes 2 areas that have nails and branches, and 2 areas that have branches are implied to have a nail, but we don't see the nail. Here, you can use flowers that move back and forth through moments in time. You can interpret this a few ways, aside from being a cool mechanic. For example, that it represents the decay the Eternal Oasis now faces. The one I personally subscribe to is that this represents a snapshot of Iconium captured by Deshret and his glass goblet right before its destruction by the Celestial Nail. This would further confirm that the branches or trees were there before the nails. This was the case in Dragonspine, where the Skyfrost Nail shattered the Frostbearer tree, whether intentional or not. And that may come with other implications. While the exact reason is unknown, it does not seem like a coincidence then that the nails fell on areas with Irminsul branches. Alternatively, they could just be growing there post-nail fall, but thinking about how the Withered Tree is growing in this frozen time-space breaks my brain. Anyway, all we really know is that the nails were used to mend the land, but also for punishment and retribution, so we can only speculate on the relation between the branches. I don't have much else to say on this yet, so I'll just shelve it for a rainy day. Okay, that's good. So we didn't find a nail, but Lilupar, of all people, may have very subtly clued us into some other really interesting things. As a disclaimer going forward, there will be a lot more speculation than usual, and although I tried to present many options, I may be missing things or biased towards certain ideas. So, tinfoil hat warning throughout this video. I just want to have some fun. I'm going off the rails tonight, boys. The true name of the Divine Halberd. Everyone seems to have like 50 billion names. Paimon loves nicknames, we gave Wander his like 4th name. Khaenri'ah liked code names for weapons, and there's definitely a certain Khaenri'an who also likes codenaming things. At this rate, Kaya's going to be revealed to have like over 9,000 names. But in 3.4, we learned more about the Jinn and the power behind their true names. If you know their true name, you have power over their will. Lilupar gives Traveler her true name, and makes you her master. Later, Jet asks if there were ulterior motives for giving her true name, perhaps suggesting there's more to true names as well. And as a side note, Zhao was controlled by his old master to devour dreams, and it's implied he was controlled by his name, not Zhao. So both Jinn and Yaksha can be controlled via true names. Now, Jinn are creations of the Goddess of Flowers, and the Goddess of Flowers was a SEELIE. I wonder then, given the general importance of names, if the mysterious powers behind true names extends to the SEELIEs, and even further, if it applies to shades. Because remember, even Istaroth is not explicitly named in text. It's only written once as a non-diegetic footnote for the player, and also obliquely referenced in Before Sun and Moon. We dare not speak her true, secret name, and so I pen it here, only once, and in reverse. Pharisee. This shows she was not forgotten, but there's a reason to avoid using a true name. The concept of true names also appears in one of my favorite books. Hey, remember that book Legend of the Shattered Halberd that I made an entire video on? I covered it as part of my Fables and Fiction Hold Secrets of the World arc. As a summary, the God King created the Divine Halberd and it shattered into pieces. The 2 main characters, Mir and the princess, go on a journey looking for fragments of the Divine Halberd to save the world. The princess is a spirit, specifically the daughter of the God King. Mir notes at length that she pretends to not remember her name, but he doesn't believe her. This is because he knows that deities tend to guard their names closely, where knowledge of a deity's true name allows a human being to exercise absolute control over them. He traded his eye with her, yet he declines even giving her a nickname. So once again, I get a feeling there's a reason not to mess with true names. So, in retrospect, it almost seems like the Shattered Halberds princess herself could be the book version of a Jinn or a Yaksha, or a SEELIE, or maybe even a Shade. She is the daughter of the God King, after all. This would make the parallel between the Shattered Halberds God King and Teyvat's Primordial One even stronger. I mean, we already have a parallel with celestial wars between realms that tore the world asunder in both. Now, we also learn at the end of the book that the princess is also a Divine Halberd herself. So actually, we could interpret the story of Shattered Halberd such that the Divine Halberd is a metaphor for Jinn or SEELIEs or even Shades, and the quest they're on is to collect their fragments, similar to how we collect the fragments and memories of Lilupar. Divine Halberd, Divine Envoy, gotcha. This would all have wild implications for something else mentioned in the book. The first Divine Halberd, Irmin. The Divine King Irmin. Let's review the book points because I want to make my thought process very clear. The first point is that the princess is the God King's daughter, a spirit with a true name. The first inference we can make here is that this is a parallel to, let's just go ahead and say, Divine Envoys. The second point is that the princess was also a Divine Halberd. The second inference we may then make is that Divine Halberds represent Divine Envoys. The third point is that Irmin was the first Divine Halberd. Okay, stay with me here. I've questioned before if the King of Khaenri'ah Irmin was of divine origin for other independent reasons, like the holy aura of the statuettes held by the Black Serpent Knights. Assuming the book Irmin reflects the Irmin of Khaenri'ah, and following this train of logic, he wouldn't be a god or archon. He would be a divine envoy. Wait, Irmin's a SEELIE? But in the book, he wasn't just any Divine Halberd. He was the first, and he connected the realms, and his replicates populated the heavens. So, if the book reflects the world, this could imply he's a SEELIE or Divine Envoy of substantial origin and power. Don't say it, Ruse. Do not say that Irmin is a Shade. Where's the evidence, Ruse? Where's the evidence, Lebowski? This could explain why Khaenri'ah was keen to adopt the remnants and motifs of the unified civilization and even Celestia. Or maybe it even has something to do with the eyes of Khaenri'ahns, star-shaped like primogems, the primordial crystals beyond the mundane world. There are a few hiccups, of course. It is odd that Irmin's name is written at least twice, but maybe that's just not his true name. And Khaenri'ah having a divine ruler goes against basically the main information we have on Khaenri'ah, as Dane specifically touts Khaenri'ah as a godless nation and the pinnacle of human achievement. And I won't even touch on a timeline speculation. Nevertheless, this would make Khaenri'ah's rebellion against the gods even more delicious. Kinda gives off Paradise Lost vibes. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, am I right, guys? Not only that, in a corner of the world, hidden from the god's gaze. Reject divinity, return to monkey. Oh yeah, also, the goddess of flowers had horns, the SEELIEs had horns, and Irmin may have also had horns. QED and checkmate. Case closed, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching my video, please like and subscribe. Okay, but yeah, there are a lot of pieces still missing. And there still is one burning question that I have never addressed. What is the relation between Irmin, the King of Khaenri'ah, and Irminsul, the silver leyline tree? Is Irmin named after Irminsul? Or is Irminsul named after Irmin? Irminsul and the Axis Mundi. Let's go back to the basics and ignore the SEELIE tinfoil theory entirely for a moment. Now, in the Silver Twig, there's a sage who hung himself upside down from a great tree, learned a lot, and then followed the roots to a kingdom. This seems like a clear reference to Norse mythology, and Odin, who Irmin may be based on, and is also yet another external reference to divinity. So perhaps Irmin took his name from Irminsul after gaining its knowledge, and the Irminsul is a revered entity to Khaenri'ah. Dainsleif is the Bowkeeper, after all. In Shattered Halberd, it said that the first Divine Halberd, Irmin, once pierced the Axis Mundi and connected the 9 worlds. In the book, the Axis Mundi is the connection between the 9 realms. In real-life comparative mythology, it's broadly the link between heaven and earth and is often represented by a world, tree, or pillar. So, the game equivalent would probably be Irminsul and the Leylines, and further links Irmin to Irminsul. But The book's specific usage of piercing the Axis Mundi and connecting the realms seems way beyond just gaining its knowledge. Perhaps this is a reference to him connecting the human realm to the abyssal realm in pursuing forbidden knowledge, and thus corrupting Irminsul. But that was only 500 years ago, and Irminsul has been corrupted before. And of course we can't forget in the book, he was the first. So let's shelve this second mystery about Irmin and Irminsul as well. Oh, okay, I think that's good. Boy, there's a lot of tree poking going on this shelf. Anyway, there's something else I wanted to address about the book's shattered halberd. For this next part, skip the tinfoil hat, skip the aluminized suit, proceed straight to the nuclear bunker. Spiritstone. Some returning viewers may have been thinking, but Ruse, you had an entirely different theory about halberds. Indeed I do. I've previously noted similarities between the Divine Halberd and Celestial Nails. They both have protective and cleansing yet mind-altering effects, and are described as rocks and weapons. And I speculated this was an intentional comparison. But I also wondered at great length, with no resolution, a discrepancy between the halberd's multitudinous descriptions. It's described as material that can be forged into swords, but it's also something that can be a person and have a name. As explored earlier with the true names, halberds as a metaphor for divine envoys or seelies could way better explain that second part. So, my first theory was that the divine halberd represents celestial nails, an object, a weapon, a meteorite slung from the heavens. Now there's a second theory. The divine halberd represents divine envoys, the offspring of the God King, with names and personas, whose fragments can be collected. I refuse to favor one because if I play both sides, I'm guaranteed to win. But these also make a third theory. These two ideas may not be mutually exclusive. That is, the divine halberd may represent both celestial nails and seelie folk. This could be interpreted many ways, but let me put it this way. What if the celestial nails derive their powers from divine envoys? Like a heavenly pillar juiced up with seelies. A celestial nail, even. Or, more seriously, you could think of it as a spirit stone, like in the chasm. A stone with a literal spirit. Hear me out. Since early Sumeru patches, we see in the enemy description for the elite Eremites that they wield weapons infused with spirits. 3.4 expands upon this idea, meticulously recording the story of Gurabad, and in particular how Parvez Ravan trapped Jinn in weapons and machines. What if this machinery took inspiration from something else? Deshret may have learned some heavenly secrets from the goddess of flowers, as he also used the power of the Jinn to build his kingdom and the glass goblet. This would all explain why the divine halberd is described as both a weapon forging material and a sentient being. But this is also contingent on many underlying interpretations. A lot of pieces have to be there lest it collapse. On the other hand, the default assumption may be that the nails are the power of the primordial one or Celestia, so would specifically invoking his creations be that much of a stretch? So let me go ahead and add this to my rainy day shelf as well. So, to summarize, we found a withered tree in the eternal Oasis, but no celestial nail. There may be a connection between the two things, but I don't know what it is. Lilupar told us a bit more about true names, and through some Olympic gold medal winning mental gymnastics, I've convinced myself that Irmin is a seelie. I'm still desperate to understand the connection between Irminsul and Irmin, and just Irmin in general. And I've also done some tinfoil hat thinking about what powers the Spiritstone. Seelies, in this case. I feel like there could be a way to put these pieces together, but I'd prefer to leave my speculation hanging as ideas and questions instead of them acting as foundations for other theories. I've already gone off the rails enough. So I hope that you find the individual pieces compelling, and maybe that can inspire your own ideas. If you made it this far, thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that notification bell with a celestial nail to mend the lands. I'd love to hear your own interpretations in the comments. I co-host a stream at twitch.tv/owletdesu, where we do voice acting for story quests, talk about character and story lore, and mostly get distracted and degen. Thanks again, and see y'all on the flip side. Bye!